Absolutely wild times around the Lakers right now. And guess what name is storming back into the conversation? Yeah, Zach LaVine. The same Zach LaVine people swore we had moved on from. But here we are again, circling back because in the NBA, timing is everything, and right now, things are shifting fast when we talk about LaVine. We're not just throwing a name out there for the sake of buzz. This is a player who, under the right circumstances, could completely transform what the Lakers look like offensively. And even though a trade for him doesn't make as much sense as it once did, a potential buyout, now that's a whole different story. Let's rewind a bit. Back when it was just LeBron James and Anthony Davis carrying the Lakers, the team desperately lacked that third scorer, someone who could flat out get buckets, with or without the ball. A perimeter threat who could take pressure off LeBron, give AD some space, and go get you 30 on any given night. That's what made LaVine such a fascinating target. Sure, the price tag was massive, but the upside, the fit, it was hard to ignore. At that time, adding Zach felt like the missing piece that could balance out the offense and unlock LeBron and AD even more, but then came Luka, and with Luka Doncic now on board, the dynamics changed completely. Luka is a ball-dominant playmaker. He's going to have the ball in his hands more than anyone else, and rightfully so. He controls the pace, creates shots for everyone, and plays with a rhythm that's tough to duplicate. Adding another high-usage guy like LaVine at a $45 to $50 million price tag just doesn't make the same kind of sense anymore. Offensively, sure, LaVine can adapt. He's a great off-ball player, one of the league's most efficient catch-and-shoot threats from three, and he has the athleticism to cut and finish above the rim. But with that contract, that weight on your cap, it's hard to justify when you've already committed to Luka, LeBron, and AD as your primary engines. Now, here's where things get spicy. Let's say Zach LaVine ends up getting bought out. Suddenly, everything shifts. The idea of adding him on a veteran minimum deal, and yes, the Lakers have already used their biannual exception, so it'd have to be minimum, becomes a no-brainer. At that price, there's zero hesitation. You run, not walk, to make that deal happen. You don't just call LaVine, you send LeBron, Luka, Magic Johnson, Kareem. Everybody gets on the phone and makes that pitch. Come to LA, chase a championship, play on the biggest stage. That's how you close it. But of course, the question is, why would Sacramento buy him out after trading for him? That's where things get interesting behind the scenes. The Kings are reportedly trying to make a move for Jonathan Kuminga, and in order to land him, they'll need to clear cap space. They're hard-capped at the first apron due to a prior sign-and-trade involving Dennis Schroeder, so their flexibility is basically non-existent unless they unload salary, and quickly. They don't want to part with young assets like Keegan Murray or Keon Ellis, and the Warriors don't want a guy like Malik Monk in return. That creates a complicated situation where the only feasible path might be waving goodbye to one of their recent acquisitions. Now, the most likely candidate for a buyout is DeMar DeRozan. He's on a more manageable salary, and his contract has some non-guaranteed components that make him easier to stretch and waive. He's also older, and given where Sacramento is in their trajectory, a team trying to fight for a play-in spot, keeping DeMar around just to bring him off the bench might not sit well with him. For a veteran at this stage of his career, coming off the bench for a borderline playoff team isn't exactly an ideal scenario. But doing it for the Lakers, living in LA, competing for a title, maybe making that last run count, that's a whole different story. Still, there's an alternate path here. And that's what brings us back to LaVine. What if Zach himself pushes for a buyout? What if he's looking at Sacramento, sees the writing on the wall, and raises his hand? Let me go. I'll give up part of my salary. Let me chase a ring. It's not unheard of. Guys in this league want to win. If LaVine's looking at the Lakers and sees Luka, LeBron, a championship window wide open, maybe he takes a hit financially to get out and chase legacy, if that's even a possibility. The Lakers need to be all over it. You don't pass up on that opportunity. If Zach LaVine becomes available at a minimum contract, you move heaven and earth. You find a way. Put him on a private jet. Roll out the purple and gold carpet. Whatever it takes. A healthy LaVine on this Lakers team, that's a potential championship clincher. He gives you athleticism, spacing, three-level scoring, and another guy who can take over when needed. He's a proven scorer who, even in a cluttered offense, can still drop 20+ on elite efficiency. That kind of weapon off the bench, or even in the starting unit, is a luxury few teams have. Now let's talk roster implications. If you land LaVine, what do you do with Austin Reeves? That's the big question. Some fans will push back here, but I'll say it outright. I'd trade Reeves straight up. Because while Reeves is a smart player, solid all around, and improving every year, LaVine is just on another level as a scorer, and for this version of the Lakers, that matters. You already have playmakers in Luka and LeBron. What you need is someone who can hit shots, stretch the floor, and bring downhill pressure. That's what Zach brings. He's more athletic, more explosive, and his off-ball movement is vastly underrated. He doesn't need touches to be effective, and that's critical when sharing the floor with two of the most ball-dominant players in the league. Some will argue Reeves brings more to the table defensively, maybe, but LaVine isn't a liability on that end. He's improved, and offensively, it's not even close. LaVine is a top-tier shooter. Last season, he shot 4.6% from 3 on over 7 attempts per game. That's not a fluke. That's elite. He's also a career 39% shooter from deep. You can't sag off him. You can't leave him open. And when you add that kind of spacing to a lineup featuring Luka and LeBron, forget it. Defenses are cooked. And imagine this for a second. Luka, LaVine, Herb Jones, LeBron James, and Andre Ayton. That's a championship caliber starting 5. You've got playmaking, shooting, athleticism, defense, everything you need to make a deep postseason run. Or if you're not ready to trade Reeves, fine. Bring him off the bench. That gives you even more depth, even more versatility. But make no mistake, LaVine would absolutely deserve that starting spot. And again, this isn't about chasing names, it's about fit. The Lakers were linked to Bradley Beal not long ago, and honestly, LaVine is a better fit for what they need. Beal's a fantastic player, no doubt, but LaVine brings more as a spot-up shooter, a cutter, and someone who thrives next to dominant ball handlers. He proved that even in crowded lineups, he can still put up numbers. Last year, between Chicago and Sacramento, LaVine played 74 games, all as a starter, averaging over 35 minutes per night. That alone silenced a lot of the injury talk. He took over 16 shots per game, hit over 51% from the field, and was lights out from deep. Again, 4.6% on high volume. He wasn't just catching fire for a week. He sustained it across the different teams. From 2-point range, he was even better, hitting over 56%. His effective field goal percentage was over 60%. He shot over 82% from the line, grabbed more than for rebounds, dished out for assists, had a steal per game, and still averaged 23.3 points per night. That's production, that's efficiency, that's consistency. And it's exactly the kind of presence the Lakers could use, especially if the goal is to bring home another banner. LaVine's game complements Luka perfectly. He doesn't need the ball, but when he gets it, he makes it count. He's a lob threat, a shooter, a cutter, a guy who forces defenses to make tough decisions every possession. Add that to LeBron, still operating at a high level, AD anchoring the defense, and Luka running the show, and you've got a nightmare squad for any opponent. Look, the odds of Sacramento actually letting LaVine walk are slim. It's still unlikely. But if that door opens, even a crack, the Lakers have to be ready. They can't hesitate. Because in this league, windows close fast. Opportunities like this don't come often. And if you can land a player like LaVine for basically nothing, you jump. You don't ask questions. You make it happen. And remember, this isn't some washed-up vet trying to ring chase. This is Zach LaVine, a guy in his prime, a guy who can still elevate a team, a guy who wants to win and has the skill set to make a difference on both ends. If there's any path to getting him, even the slightest chance, the Lakers need to go all in. No excuses, no delays, just action. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. In what's rapidly becoming the latest buzz around the league, the Los Angeles Lakers may be cooking up something big this offseason. According to murmurs making the rounds in NBA circles, there's growing speculation that the Lakers are in advanced talks with the Utah Jazz over a blockbuster trade involving Lauri Markkanen and Rui Hachimura. While nothing has been confirmed officially, sources suggest that this could be more than just smoke. The deal, which would send Hachimura to Salt Lake City and bring the Finnish star Markkanen to Hollywood, is being whispered about as a potential game changer for the purple and gold. Markkanen, who had a breakout season with the Jazz and earned his first All-Star nod in 2023, could add a much-needed offensive punch and spacing to a Lakers roster still heavily reliant on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. His ability to stretch The floor, combined with his size and mobility, fits well into the modern NBA style the Lakers have been rumored to pursue. HACHIMURA, meanwhile, showed flashes of brilliance during the Lakers' 2023 playoff run but struggled with consistency throughout the following season. While his physicality and mid-range game are intriguing, insiders say the Lakers might view Markkanen as a better long-term fit alongside Davis, particularly given his perimeter shooting and ability to operate without needing the ball in his hands. Some within the league believe the Jazz, who are retooling their roster and prioritizing flexibility, could be open to moving Markkanen for the right price, especially if it comes with additional draft compensation, which the Lakers might be willing to surrender to secure a third star. However, questions remain about whether Los Angeles can part with enough assets to convince Utah to let go of their franchise cornerstone. It's still early, and these talks could fade into thin air as so many do, but the chatter is growing louder by the day. Could we really see Lauri Markkanen in purple and gold next season? For now, it's just a rumor, but one that's too intriguing to ignore. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.